Thank you so much for joining us today. I know you're all busy and have a lot going on, and it's the first week of the new year, the first full week. Yay, it's 2026, but wow, we've got a lot to do, don't we? That we probably put off before the holidays. So we really thank you for being here and for being part of this initiative, Declaration Conversations. I'm Tracy Quillen. So you've heard from me. I'm the Associate Director for Humanities Kansas. Joining me today are Julie Mulvihill and Caitlin Savage, and Julie is our Executive Director and Caitlin is our Operations Manager. You have likely dealt with one or all of us at some point, and as we move forward with this project, you will probably be dealing with one or all of us as we go through it. We are so excited to be commemorating the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence with you all in 2026. So I am going to start a PowerPoint that's going to go over some of the highlights of the initiative, and this is for both our facilitators who are joining us today and for you, the local hosts who are also joining us. You'll all be working together as these events take place across the state. It's kind of good to know what everyone's doing, whose responsibility is what you need to do. And we'll also be leaving time at the end for questions. So if things come up, um, enter questions in the chat. We'll get to them, or you can ask those as we go through. All right, so I'm going to start sharing my screen. All right. Oh, I need to go back. All right, so Declaration Conversations. Here's our meeting today. Happy 250th, as we said already. Um, This is part of an overall initiative that Humanities Kansas has called Declaration at 250. And the idea is to commemorate our 250th and the signing of the Declaration of Independence. And I know that, we've all learned about the Declaration of Independence in our studies as we've gone through school, but have we ever stopped and actually read the Declaration of Independence? I'm sure some of you have, but for many of us, it's been a while. So we really wanted an opportunity to have an interactive, engaging event that got people together to learn about the background of the Declaration of Independence. How did we get here? Read excerpts as a group. This is a really great exercise to not only read, but listen to the words of the Declaration of Independence, and then have a facilitated discussion about the Declaration of Independence with a historian who is able to help us, really, have that bigger, broader conversation about what this document means, what it has today, and how do we feel about that in 2026. Other HK Declaration at 250 events include the Declaration 1776 Big Bang of Modern Democracy Traveling Exhibition, which some of you were involved in, which is currently traveling the state and will be in 46 locations. And support for these events are provided by the Kansas Arts Commission and the United Methodist Health Ministry Fund. Now, the Declaration Conversations, the PowerPoint that will be presented at all of your presentations, and the companion script were written by Dr. Chris Childers, who is one of our facilitators, and he is a professor of history at Pittsburgh State University, whose area of expertise is in colonial and revolutionary history. So we are so fortunate to have his expertise right here in Kansas, because as we know, Kansas was not part of what was going on in the colonies at that time, but it's great to have that expertise so locally. So what happens at a Declaration Conversations event? Well, as we said, it's interactive and a lot happens, but this will, of course, change from location to location because you're all different and you're all going to have different facilitators. But the overview, the general outline is the local hosts will introduce the facilitator. So if you've ever hosted a Speakers Bureau event from Humanities Kansas, very similar to that, we'll provide you an introduction with information about the facilitator with their bio and information about the event that you could read to the group. Our facilitators will present a PowerPoint overview of the historical events leading up to the Declaration of Independence. We ask you not to modify the PowerPoint or the script, and this is for the facilitators, by either one of you. But the facilitators, you're really encouraged to make the script your own. So instead of reading the script word for word, you can really just present it as you would in your own words. Then we'll have readers that you'll select. You, the local hosts, will read excerpts of the Declaration of Independence out loud, and we've provided you with a script of the excerpts. So, that's probably one since, that language of that era is a little more, doesn't flow as easily as a modern language would. We've provided scripts so people can practice beforehand. And then our facilitators will lead a discussion. All the Declaration Conversations events must be nonpartisan. Humanities Kansas is nonpartisan, and so all of our programming must be. So the facilitator is really there to redirect the conversation when necessary. And we understand that, there's a lot going on in our nation that, this might bring up, but that is really what the facilitator is there to do. Julie, anything else to add about nonpartisan discussions?
Yeah, I think this is a great introduction here. And one of the things about declaration conversations that really strike me is that, we all know that democracy is participatory. And so one of the reasons why we wanted to have this engaging format is to sort of have it more of an engagement among people, right? Rather than a passive, more passive sort of speakers bureau event. And so that's why there's a challenge of having local readers read these excerpts and parts of the Declaration of Independence out loud as a way to kind of be part of that participatory democracy. But Tracy's exactly right. There's a lot going on, not only in our nation, but also around the world. And it doesn't take a big leap to think that there could be great connections that are going to be made between the Declaration of Independence, written 250 years ago, and some of what we're hearing about in today's world. And so we just use this as a reminder that these events are not intended to support a particular candidate or support a particular political party. These events are not meant to be fundraisers for political parties or to back a particular candidate at any level of government. So all of you know this, you're pros, you work in and among these sorts of complicated and nuanced things all the time in your professional capacities. And so we just need to remind everyone, ourselves included, that there is no agenda behind these conversations. It's the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence, and it's a really great way to help our communities and ourselves learn what's in America's founding document. Tracy and I have been going around talking about, do you know what's in
Yeah.
America's founding document? And most people don't. And it's so wonderfully American in the sense that the first part is aspirational, right? We have all that like flowery language that Jefferson uses, and then it quickly turns to a list of grievances, and it
Mhm.
just makes me smile every time I read through that because it's just so, it's just we've been doing this for 250 years, and so it's a great time to stop and pause and read through it and think about it. So the role of the local host and the role of the facilitators, they're going to have to be really close. Tracy pointed out that if the conversations needs to be redirected, the facilitator is there as a professional in this sort of atmosphere to redirect if necessary, but it also means that they might need some backup from the local coordinator. So we expect you to be a participant in the event, not stepping back and just watching, but being part of it too, so that you can help support that if on the rare chance it might be leading into a conversation that you don't feel is productive for this particular event. So with that, we can talk more about this later if you want to, but Tracy, I'll turn it back over to you.
Okay. When everything's over, we've had a great conversation, people are all excited, they get a copy of the Declaration of Independence to take home with them, and we will provide those to you prior to your event. So if you haven't received them and it's a couple weeks out, let us know and we'll be sure to send them to you, but we will get those out to you. All right, so what do you need to do before the event? Some of you have events coming up soon in January. Some of you have events coming up towards the end of the year. What you need to do before the event as facilitators and hosts is you need to get in contact with one another. So we've given you the contact information for each other, and you just want to touch base on those, basic things. How the room is set up. As the facilitator, do you need something in the room? What equipment is needed? This has a PowerPoint. There needs to be access to a projector. Who's got the laptop? Is the facilitator bringing their laptop, or do you have a laptop you use there? What are other logistics that need to be covered? It's like our parking lot's being paved the night of the event, so you need to park next door, or we're going to host a big dinner or refreshment party afterwards. We'd love for you to stay, or the newspaper is going to be there. So they want to interview you, things like that. These are things that you need to just touch base on before the event, email, over the phone, just to make sure everyone's on the same page. And this is just important because, as Julie said, you're working together with this, so you want to make sure you're in good communication. Local hosts, what you need to do before the event are a few things. You need to recruit your readers. So we will need 6 readers to read portions of the Declaration of Independence. And each reader will be assigned a role, reader 1, reader 2, reader 3, and so on. We really recommend this be done in advance and that everyone who is reading be given a copy of the script with their excerpt so they can practice. I would, if it's possible before the event, either the day of the event, or if you could do it, days before the event, doing a practice with all the readers is encouraged. People get nervous. And for that reason, you should really look for people who are comfortable using microphones, speaking in front of a group, people who are readers at their church, who teach, or who just enjoy public speaking. So this is one you've got some time to think about. It also guarantees that you've got 6 people there to participate in the discussion. So that's really exciting too. So really be
Sure.
thinking about those people who are your strong readers and who are, available to be there that day of the event.
Yeah, I'll just jump in with a couple of thoughts there. The facilitator does not need to be involved in any sort of a run through with
Mhm.
the readers. So keep that in mind. This is really something done at the local level. And if 6 readers stresses you out, you're all creative. You could, have people, you could choose 3 and they could
Mhm.
read 2 parts. It's really up to you. But the idea of, again, it's this sort of participatory opportunity to have people kind of stand up and read parts of the words that really built the America that we know
Mhm.
today. So, just keep that in mind and
Yeah.
we're cheering you on.
If you've got more than 6 and you want to split up the excerpts, that's fine too. You do it the way that works best for you. Supplies needed. What do you need to do before the event? Local hosts, you need supplies. Yeah, a few supplies. You need copies of the Declaration of Independence. We'll send those to you. You need the script for the readers that is on our website, and I'll be sharing a link before we finish the PowerPoint today. Laptop and projector. So this is really important to have some time to test to make sure that the projector is connecting to the laptop, that the PowerPoint can be opened up, and that all of that tech stuff works. Because if you're anything like me, um, tech everything is fine until the actual event, and then my tech will fail me. So the more I can have things ready to go. The PowerPoint has been sent to all the facilitators. It is included in the host resources webpage, so you can download the PowerPoint. So it's readily available. But if you're having any trouble with that file, let us know and we can help you work through that. If you're using a microphone, which we do really recommend because there's nothing more frustrating for people who can't hear the speaking or what's happening, that also needs to be tested because that's another thing that usually, you know, th- is this thing on? Testing, testing. That is usually what will happen if you don't test beforehand, which I'm sure we've all experienced. And then this is our recommended room setup, but local hosts, you can set up the room however you like. Facilitators, if you have some input on how you would like the room set up, that's fine too. But here is our recommendation so that everyone can see and hear. And so we recommend that the room have a podium for the facilitator and 6 chairs or however many chairs you need for the readers. The readers don't need to be up at the front of with the at the podium through the whole event. They can be in the audience until after the facilitators completed their presentation. And then when it's time to do the readings, they can move up front. There needs to be at least one microphone centrally located so readers can step forward to read their parts. And then again, you need that computer projector screen set up for the facilitator's PowerPoint demonstration.
Yeah, so if you're thinking about timing, there'll be an introduction and then the facilitator will start the PowerPoint conversation, sort of how did we get to this place? Getting America to 1776. That's going to take maybe 10 or 15 minutes, no more than that. So the rest of the event is really the reading and discussion of the Declaration of Independence. And so when Tracy said that the readers don't need to be up front for that first 10 or 15 minutes, that's really all it is. The majority of this hour-long event will be kind of that engaging reading the pieces, talking about the pieces. Why was this included? Why was it not included? Would you change the language now? Why or why not? That sort of thing. That's going to be the bulk of it. The kind of overview of the time period is really meant to be fairly minimal, like I said, 10 or 15 minutes.
Okay, another thing you need to do before the event as local hosts is, if you haven't already, is to pay your booking fee, and that's $100, and to sign your agreement that we have sent you with your award email. The events can't go forward and it's not confirmed until we receive that $100 booking fee. So if you want to confirm that we've received it, if you need another email with instructions on how to make that payment, just let us know because there's a lot happening. It's been a long break. If you're not sure that it's been paid, just check on us and we can definitely let you know. And what happens if we need to cancel or reschedule the event? It rained so hard here today that I imagined if it was snow, we would be all snowed in here in Topeka. So, weather changes, things happen, people get sick. What happens if you need to reschedule the event? Contact one another. So, facilitators, if you're sick, if you're snowed in, if the weather looks bad, call the local host first. Local hosts, if your building loses power, if you've got terrible weather where you are, if, half the town is down with the flu and you don't think anyone will come, call the facilitator. The event can be rescheduled. Decide on a date and let us know. Just let us know as soon as possible. I say immediately. If not immediately, then quickly after that, because we will want to notify people via social media, and we'll also want to update our website calendar, but you should do the same. So if you need to change that date, let people know. If the event cannot be rescheduled, say this is November 2026 and you're like, there's no other date we can do it, we will reimburse the program fee and just cancel the event. But, that first connection between the facilitator and the local host is the important one. And then the second contact should be to Caitlin or to me and say, we've needed to reschedule this event. And then you want to promote your event. Everything's going as planned. You want to promote it. We have a press release template and a photo of the speaker of your facilitator on the HK website. We have the introduction that you can download to introduce your facilitator. We have a social media graphic that you can use, and we've included a link to Canva if you use Canva so that you can update the graphic with your location, your date, and that relevant information. And then HK shares all of your events and has them listed on our calendar of events, and then we do social media weekly to promote the events that are coming up. If you create a Facebook event, add us as a co-host or invite us to be a co-host, and we will happily accept. The link to find all of that information is included there, and then you'll also find a host resources button on the Declaration at 250 page on our website that has all of this information. So the events happen. It's been great. The conversation's great. People are excited. They're energized. They stick around and they talk to the facilitator, and everyone's happy. Um, then it's time to tell us how it went. Share that with us. Um, for local hosts, you have a final report to submit. You will receive an email reminder, and it will also be available in your applicant dashboard that you accessed to apply for declaration conversations. If you need any help with that, Caitlin is available to do that. We also want photos, so don't forget to take photos. I know it's busy. You could assign someone to take photos, and we really want to see photos of of the readers reading, of conversations happening. You can take a group photo at the end. Those are always fun. We'd love to see what happens at your event. And for the facilitators, we want you to tell us how it went too. So you will submit a facilitator evaluation. This will serve as your invoice for payment. So as a reminder to the local hosts, HK will pay the facilitators directly. You've paid your your booking fee at $100, and then we take it from there. So we will pay the facilitator directly. Um, we pay facilitators, we pay you via bill.com. If you're new to HK and have not been a facilitator or speaker before, you'll be sent instructions for registering for bill.com after you submit that first invoice or evaluation. And you can find the link to those evaluations on our website, which is if you go to grants and programs, and to Speakers Bureau documents and forms. So that link is there. It's a long one, but an important one. And that same link is where local hosts will find your instructions on how to do your final report too. Um, can students participate in the event and as readers? Yes, they can. Students are welcome to participate in the event. They can be readers, but please note that this event is really intended for the out-of-school adult audience in general. We love to have students there and love to have them participate. So it cannot be presented in K through 12 classrooms or as a college class on campus. So it really needs to be, primarily geared towards that out-of-school adult audience with that multi-generational participation aspect. Here's a list of the website resources. I'm going to be sending you the slides when this is done, so you'll be able to access all of these links. And again, on our website, host resources under the Declaration Conversations tab. I'll send that link around too. Before we get into questions, I wanted to turn it over to Caitlin to just show you where you can access that final report for the local hosts. And also, if possible, Caitlin, if you can show where the final reports are for for our facilitators too.
Okay, I'm going to replace your shared screen here, Tracy. And okay, can everybody see my screen? I guess yell if you can't see my screen is a better way. This is where you're going to find your applicant dashboard. So if you have any issues getting to it, you should also be able to get to it roundabout way on the Speakers Bureau page. Click here to apply, takes you to the login page. But I definitely recommend you try to bookmark the login page so that you can easily access your applicant dashboard. And if you happen to use other grant platforms that are the same grant interface website, just, mark it as HK's grant interface so that you know what you're logging into. Because I know we've had that in the past, but this should be what it will look like when you log in. It'll say your community's organization. Won't all say Park City, but it'll say your organization. Your name should be up here over in the right-hand corner. And then anything that you have due to us will show up in the action needed, whether it's due in 9 months or whether it was due last month. So everything that you have not yet completed will be in this action needed section. And then if you have any historical documentation, if you have, previously signed agreement, it's all over here in this historical. So when you go into your action needed, many of you will have this award notification and agreement. And all you need to do for this one is go into it, read it, say, yes, I have in fact paid my $100 in your head. And then you need to just hit the submit follow-up button on there. And that will mark it as done on our end. And then we can also kind of audit those $100 fees as they come in. And then if you need to get back, you just hit the home button up here at the top. And that should take you back. And then once you're ready to access your final report, you'll get an email notification a couple weeks ahead of time to just say, hey, you have this report due in 2 weeks. They are due 2 weeks after your event. So it should be around your event day. You'll get that notification email. It'll have a link directly to access your final report. So you won't have to go find that login, but you'll just click into the final report from your dashboard on the action needed, and it will take you to the questions that you need to answer for that final report. We just want simple things, audience count, that type of stuff. It's nothing too crazy or labor intensive. So that's where all of the organizations will find theirs. For the facilitators, you all received an email for each of the conversations. And so that you'll be able to find within that email that I sent you that and it said presenter evaluation. So you have those in your email. You should also be able to find it if you go to our website on the Speakers Bureau page. And if you scroll down a little bit on this page, there's a documents and forms. And this documents and forms has this speaker evaluation. So you can find it there if you can't find the email. And that speaker evaluation will just take you out. You'll just fill out your name, what program type you did, the title of your presentation, which for this will just be declaration conversation, and then where, when, and then we just have a few questions about, stories from your experience. We love it if you guys take pictures. So on both ends, we have upload spots for pictures so that you can show us how it went. Not only tell us, but show us. So is there anything else you wanted me to review, Tracy?
No, I think that was pretty good. And as Julie reminded in the chat, it's our grants or our applicant dashboard is through Foundant. So this is why the interface looks so different from our normal website. It is that Foundant dashboard. So if you have any questions about how to access anything, feel free to reach out to us. And we field calls about this quite regularly. So we're happy to help you get to where you need to be.
We also have on our website a special declaration at 250 page, and there you'll find just kind of some broad information. So if, somebody calls you and you're looking for something and you don't find it in the press release template, that might be a place for you to look, see how this fits in. It's also a place where Tracy's developed an online toolkit. So there are some communities who are choosing not to use one of our facilitators, but might be wanting to do some of these conversations there. So we've got that for free too. So, just kind of keep that in mind that you are our extra special guest because you are doing a facilitated conversation, which we think are going to be really incredible. Tracy, did you want to talk about the possibility of a videographer being around?
Yes, I did. So Humanities Kansas, we are working with we hope to work with a videographer, filmmaker to record some of these events and make a video that we will debut right before July 4th, a week or two before, to really get people excited about July 4th and the Declaration of Independence and the big anniversary. So this may involve some of you. It kind of depends on proximity to where the filmmaker is and dates. It will likely involve those of you who have events before May, and I'll reach out to you directly and let you know what's going on. So you won't be surprised someone's not just going to come in with a camera and start sticking it in your face. We'll work with you, facilitators and local hosts, to make sure you know this is happening. So I'll have more information in the next week or so, but that's a really exciting development that's happening.
Yeah, I think it's really cool, this whole idea. Like Kansans read the Declaration of Independence, and you can see like this little, 1 or 2 minute little film blip of like splices of Tonganoxie talking, and maybe it's Gardner's in there, maybe Kinsley's in there, or Dodge City, or whoever it is. And Tracy said it's really kind of a timing thing more than anything else, because we know if we want to blitz and get it out on our media channels before the 4th of July, then we've got to build in a little bit of time. But I think it would be really cool to hear Kansans of all ages across the state.
Yeah.
reading portions of the Declaration of Independence.
Yeah.
I
And
mean,
I
what
would
a
say,
gift.
yeah, how awesome. And if you're not one of the communities that's part of the video, feel free to record it and share excerpts and share that on your social media. We love to share that. Anything that you put out, we are excited to share. This is really a special opportunity. And I think that, you know, I may be biased, but I think Kansas and Kansans, we do this really well. So I think we'll be sort of the envy of the nation because we've got all of this in place and a great, educated, interested population ready to get together and talk. So it's exciting. All right. Are there any questions about what we've covered today or questions that came up during the presentation that we can answer? All right.
I think the biggest takeaway, a lot of you are just experienced working with our Speakers Bureau, that this is close, but not exactly the same. So there is that interactive piece. And the more that you kind of give that a little thought in advance, I think the easier the facilitation will be. And we've got just some terrific facilitators. I know Travis Lamb from the Dole Institute of Politics is right here on the call, and Tanya Compton from Kansas Wesleyan is also a historian and a facilitator. She was on the call. I'm not sure if she still is. But I think this is just a really special opportunity, and we're just excited to have this engagement. So don't think of it as a speakers bureau where the speaker comes in and talks for 45 minutes and then you have cookies and go home. This is the facilitator coming in and, giving you your first 10 or 15 minutes. And then it's really the community with the guidance of the facilitator walking through, what does this mean? Why would they include this? Does it still hold true today? And the facilitator has questions that have been prepared by Dr. Childers that they can and might use, but they'll follow the conversation as, what happens in Topeka might not be the same conversation that happens in Dodge City. And so that's why we're just so grateful to have everybody working together. So Tracy's exactly right. Get in touch with one another sooner rather than later, kind of hash out how you envision it. Most of our facilitators are doing this more than once. So I would imagine after they get one under their belt, they might have some pretty strong ideas about how the room setup might flow a little bit better. And so we will welcome that, and you can make those arrangements as well. So Tracy, it looks like there's a question from Gardner, so I'll turn it over to you.
Yes. Yeah, you do get a copy of the PowerPoint and the script that's been included. And I am actually going to just share my screen really quickly to pull that up. Let's see if I can share and get on our website. Yes, when you go to that, can everyone see my website or my screen? Okay, go to Grants and Programs, Declaration at 250. Scroll down to Declaration Conversations. There's host resources. And so you're going to have a link to that toolkit, which is the script, the PowerPoint, and all that information from that Dr. Childers put together. You'll have information on how to set up your room, promote your event, your final report link, and your applicant dashboard. So all of that is there for you. And if you can't find anything or you need anything else, let me know, and I can always update it and get it to you. So, all right. Well, thanks everyone. We will send you a copy of this recording. We'll send you the slides for your reference as well. But again, we're here to help. So if you have any questions between now and then, we would love to hear from you. If you have any ideas, let us know too. And yeah, we appreciate all of you. Thanks for being a part of this with us. It's going to be great. Happy 250th.
Happy 250.
Happy birthday. All right. Take care, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.